Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos, make sure you stay in one piece. Peace, peace, peace.
My name is Justin, and this happened to me about 8 months ago. It was in the middle of winter. I took a trip to Alaska. I even rented an Airbnb. It was a cabin. When I got into my Airbnb, I realized that it was on a side of town that was not really populated. The nearest house was about 3 miles away, and you had to drive about 15 minutes before you can get into a town that had stores and restaurants. But I didn't mind it. It just meant that it was going to be a quiet, peaceful trip. And it made me really look forward to the coming days. I can go out and ski trip and come back to a quiet cabin. When I got inside the cabin, it was pretty small, but it was big enough for me. To explain the layout of the house, when you walk into the front of the cabin, straight ahead is the kitchen. On your left, there's one bedroom, and then on your right, there's a bathroom. In the middle of the kitchen and the front door is a nice little living room, and then on a corner, between two windows, is a fireplace. It was really cozy and I liked it. I unpacked my stuff, and I got settled in. I made myself some dinner, and after that, I sat down and watched some YouTube videos on my phone until I started to fall off to sleep. The next morning, I got myself up to prepare for skiing. When I got everything on and I went outside, I noticed that I saw some footprints that were leading to my house, and then it went back into the forest. I know for sure it didn't come from me because when I left footprints and went into the house, it snowed last night. So any footprints that I made, it disappeared with the new freshly made snow. I looked around to see if I could find anyone that looked suspicious or anything, but I didn't see anyone as far as I can tell. I paid it no mind, and I got myself together, and I went on a skiing trip. A few hours later, which was around 1 o'clock p.m., I came back to my Airbnb, and that's when I noticed that my door was unlocked. I know for sure I locked the door before I left. I texted the Airbnb host and the owner of the house to ask them that they happened to may have came in and just forgot to tell me and forgot to unlock the door. I didn't get a reply from them. I tried to just comfort myself and just thought that maybe it was most likely the Airbnb host or the owner of the house. I took off my snow gear and I got in some comfortable clothes. I started up the fireplace and I made myself lunch. I made myself grilled cheese and soup along with some hot chocolate. I sat down at the fireplace and just enjoyed my meal, trying not to think about what just happened. A few hours later, as I got out of the shower and I was about to just sit down in my bed to relax, that's when I heard a window shattering in the living room area. I jumped up quickly and I slowly walked into the living room area, and what I saw frightened me. There was a man standing there with a huge, uncomfortable smile on his face. He had a butcher's knife with him, and then he tried to come into the house through the broken window. When he couldn't do that, he ran towards the door and tried to break the door down. I immediately grabbed my phone and I called 911 and let them know about what was happening. The man was still trying to break inside the house, but he was unsuccessful. And when he heard me call the cops, he ran back into the forest. About 15 minutes later, the cops arrived, and I told them about what happened. The Airbnb host and owner also arrived as well. The cops looked around the entire area of where I stayed at, including the wooded area, but they couldn't find the guy anywhere. The Airbnb owner and host told us that they haven't stepped foot inside my Airbnb since I rented the area, meaning that someone managed to pick the lock and get inside my Airbnb. Most likely the guy that broke into my Airbnb through the window and that was going to try to come into the house but couldn't. But then something really gets me though. If he was the one that unlocked in my Airbnb before, how come he had a hard time getting in the second time around? Makes me wonder if there was a second person that was involved in this. But either way, the situation freaked me out and I cut the trip short. I was able to get a refund and I was happy with that. I just hated that my trip, a trip that I planned 6 months in advance, was ruined